The autumn rain had just stopped when Marcus Reed noticed the little girl standing outside Bella Vista, the upscale restaurant where he'd come for his usual Friday dinner. She couldn't have been more than 6 years old. Her golden hair hung in damp strands around her face, and her cream-colored dress was spotted with raindrops. But it was her eyes that stopped him, wide, determined, and brimming with tears she was trying hard not to shed. Marcus was 53, a man who'd built his life on predictability and routine. His steel gray hair was perfectly trimmed, his navy suit pressed without a single wrinkle. He'd been CEO of Reed Industries for 15 years, and in all that time, he'd learned that emotions were best kept at arm's length. "Excuse me, sir?" Her small voice cut through the evening air. Marcus paused at the restaurant door, his hand on the brass handle. He wasn't accustomed to being approached by children, or anyone really outside of board meetings. "Yes?" His tone was measured, neutral. The little girl walked up to him with surprising courage, her small hands clasped together. "Are you someone important?" Despite himself, Marcus felt the corner of his mouth twitch. "That depends on who you ask." "You look important," she said seriously, studying his expensive suit and polished shoes. "You look like someone who could make things happen." There was something in her voice, a desperate hope that reminded Marcus of someone from long ago, his own daughter perhaps, before everything fell apart. "What's your name?" he found himself asking. Lily Martinez." She took a deep breath, as if gathering every ounce of courage in her small body. "And I need to ask you something very important." Marcus glanced at his watch. His reservation was for 7 o'clock, and it was already 5 past. But something kept him standing there in the cool evening air. "Where are your parents?" "My daddy..." Lily's voice wavered. "My daddy died last year. In a car accident. It's just me and Mommy now." The words hit Marcus harder than he expected. He knew that kind of loss. He'd lost his own wife 10 years ago to cancer. "I'm sorry," he said and meant it. Lily nodded, blinking back tears. "Mommy tries really hard. She works 2 jobs, at the flower shop during the day and cleaning offices at night. But she's so tired all the time, and she cries when she thinks I'm asleep." Marcus felt something crack in the armor he'd built around his heart. "Tonight is her birthday," Lily continued, her words tumbling out faster now. "She's 34 today. I wanted to do something special, but I don't have much money. I saved up $7 from my allowance." She pulled a crumpled bill and some coins from her pocket. "I thought maybe I could buy her a nice dinner. But the man at the door said this restaurant is too expensive." Marcus looked at the restaurant behind him. The soft, golden light spilling onto the sidewalk, the white tablecloths visible through the windows. It was expensive. One meal here cost more than Lily's $7 many times over. "So I've been standing here," Lily said, her voice dropping to barely a whisper, "watching people go in. Important people, successful people." She looked up at him with those impossibly earnest eyes. "People like you." "Lily, I'm not sure what you're asking." "Sir?" she interrupted. And then she said the words that would change everything. "Please marry my mommy. She's all I've got left, and she needs someone to take care of her. She needs someone who won't leave." The request was so unexpected, so impossibly innocent, that Marcus actually stepped back. "Lily, I can't just..." "She's really pretty," Lily pressed on desperately. "And she's the kindest person in the whole world. She always helps people even when we don't have much. And she makes the best chocolate chip cookies. And she sings even though she's tired. And she deserves someone good. Someone who won't..." Her voice broke. "Someone who won't leave us." Marcus stood there. This powerful CEO who commanded boardrooms and made million-dollar decisions, rendered absolutely speechless by a 6-year-old girl with rain-damp hair and $7 in her hand. "Where's your mother now?" he asked quietly. "She's coming. We were going to walk through the park for her birthday because it's free. But I ran ahead because I saw this restaurant and I thought..." Lily's shoulders sagged. "I thought maybe I could make something nice happen for once." In the distance, Marcus heard a woman's voice calling out. Lily, where are you?" The panic in that voice was unmistakable. "That's her," Lily whispered. A moment later, a young woman rounded the corner, breathless and frightened. She was indeed beautiful, Marcus noticed, with the same golden hair as her daughter, though hers was pulled back in a simple ponytail. She wore a modest blue dress and a thin jacket, and there was a weariness in her face that spoke of many long days and too little rest. "Lily!" She rushed forward and pulled her daughter into her arms. "Don't ever run off like that. I was so worried. I'm sorry, Mommy, I just wanted to—" "Elena Martinez?" Marcus found himself speaking before he'd fully thought through what he was doing. The woman looked up, startled, holding her daughter close. "Yes? My name is Marcus Reed. Your daughter and I were just having an interesting conversation." He gestured to the restaurant door. "Would you both join me for dinner?" Elena's eyes widened. "Oh, no, we couldn't possibly—" "Please," Marcus said, and he realized he meant it. "It would be my honor. I understand it's your birthday." Elena looked down at Lily, then back at Marcus. Confusion and caution warring in her expression. "Sir, I don't understand. Did Lily do something? I'm so sorry if she bothered you." "She didn't bother me," Marcus said simply. "She reminded me of something I'd forgotten." "What's that?" Marcus looked at Lily, at her hopeful face, and then at Elena's tired, wary eyes. "That kindness still exists in the world," he said. "And that maybe we all need someone to share a meal with now and then." The maitre d' at Bella Vista knew Marcus Reed well enough not to question him bringing two unexpected guests to his usual table. Within minutes, they were seated by the window, Marcus in his customary chair, Elena perched uncertainly on the edge of hers, and Lily between them, eyes wide as saucers as she took in the crystal. Chandeliers and white linen, tablecloths. "I really don't know how to thank you," Elena said quietly. "But I also don't understand why you're doing this." Marcus poured water into Elena's glass, then Lily's. "Your daughter made me a very interesting proposition." Elena's face paled. "Oh, no." "Lily, what did you—" "She asked me to marry you," Marcus said calmly. The silence that followed was deafening. Elena's face turned crimson. "Mr. Reed, I am so sorry." "Lily, how could you—" "Because you're sad, Mommy," Lily said, her lower lip trembling. "You're sad all the time, and I thought if someone took care of you, you wouldn't be sad anymore." Elena's eyes filled with tears. She pulled Lily close and kissed the top of her head. "Oh, sweetheart, you take care of me just by being you. You're my whole world." "But you're tired," Lily whispered. "And you cry. Adults cry sometimes, baby. It doesn't mean we're broken. It just means we're human." Marcus watched this exchange, feeling something warm and unfamiliar stirring in his chest. It had been so long since he'd witnessed this kind of love, uncomplicated, fierce, and completely genuine. "For what it's worth," he said quietly, "I think your daughter's heart is in the right place, even if her methods are a bit unconventional." Elena wiped her eyes and let out a shaky laugh. "That's one way to put it." The waiter appeared, and Marcus ordered for the table. Nothing too heavy, but special enough for a birthday. Filet mignon for the adults, chicken fingers for Lily, and a side of those chocolate lava cakes he knew were the restaurant's specialty. As they waited for the food, conversation began to flow. Tentatively at first, then with growing ease. Elena told him about the flower shop where she worked, about arranging bouquets and learning the language of flowers. Lily chimed in with stories about her school and her best friend, Sophie. And Marcus, to his own surprise, found himself talking about things he rarely discussed. His daughter who lived across the country now with her own family. The grandchildren he saw twice a year if he was lucky. The wife he'd lost and still missed in quiet moments. "I'm sorry," Elena said softly. "Losing someone you love, it changes everything, doesn't it?" "It does," Marcus agreed. "It changes who you are. For me, I think it made me harder, more focused on work, because work doesn't hurt the way people can." "And lonely?" Elena asked gently. Marcus looked at her, at this young woman who'd been through her own heartbreak and somehow still had gentleness to spare. "Yes," he admitted. "Very lonely." Lily, who had been focusing intently on coloring the children's menu, the waiter had brought, suddenly looked up. "Then you should have friends. Mommy says everyone needs friends." "Your mommy is very wise," Marcus said. The food arrived, and for a while they ate in comfortable silence. Marcus watched Lily's face light up at her first bite of the lava cake. Watched Elena close her eyes as she savored flavors. She clearly hadn't tasted in a long time. "This is the best birthday I've had in years," Elena said quietly. "Thank you, Mr. Reed, truly." "Marcus," he corrected. "And there's something I'd like to propose." Elena tensed slightly. "What's that?" "Not marriage," he said with a hint of a smile. "Though your daughter made a compelling case." Lily giggled. No, I was thinking something more practical. My company, Reed Industries, we're always looking for good people. People with heart and work ethic. I'd like to offer you a position in our corporate services department. Better hours than 2 jobs. Better pay. Benefits, health care for you and Lily. Elena stared at him. You can't be serious. I'm always serious, Marcus said. Perhaps too serious, actually. But yes, I mean it. You're working yourself to exhaustion, Elena. Let me help change that. But you don't even know me. You don't know if I'm qualified. I know you raised a daughter brave enough to approach a stranger and ask for help when she needed it. I know you're doing everything you can to give her a good life. That tells me more about your character than any resume ever could. Tears spilled down Elena's cheeks. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Lily urged. Say yes, Mommy. Elena laughed through her tears. You're going to give me a heart attack with your surprises today, little one. She looked at Marcus. Are you sure? Really sure? I haven't been sure about much in a long time, Marcus said honestly. But yes, I'm sure about this. That night, as Marcus drove home to his empty penthouse, he found himself smiling, really smiling, for the first time in months, maybe years. His phone buzzed with a text from his assistant confirming Monday's meetings. But Marcus found himself thinking instead about Monday morning at the office, when Elena would start her new job. About Lily's first day at the much better school, near Reed Industries that he'd already arranged. He thought about the way Elena had hugged him goodbye, briefly, gratefully, and how Lily had slipped her small hand into his and said, Thank you for being kind to us. Mr. Marcus, you're not as cold as you look. Cold. Was that what he'd become? Maybe. But perhaps it wasn't too late to thaw. 6 months later, Marcus stood in Elena's small apartment, soon to be her former apartment, helping her pack boxes. Lily was at school, and they were wrapping dishes in newspaper together, an oddly domestic task that felt surprisingly comfortable. I still can't believe this is happening, Elena said, holding up a chipped coffee mug. A year ago, I was barely keeping us afloat. Now I have a job I love, Lily's thriving at her new school, and we're moving into a real house. You did that, Marcus reminded her. You've worked hard, proven yourself at the company. This promotion was earned, not given. Still, Elena said softly, none of it would have happened without your kindness. Without you seeing us that night outside the restaurant. Marcus wrapped a plate carefully before responding. I think Lily saw me first. Really saw me. And reminded me that there was still a heart beating under all the ice. They worked in comfortable silence for a while. Over the past months, a genuine friendship had developed between them. Marcus had Sunday dinners with Elena and Lily most weeks. He'd taught Lily to play chess. He'd listened to Elena's dreams about maybe opening her own flower shop someday. They'd become, in their own way, a sort of family. Marcus? Elena's voice was hesitant. Yes? What Lily asked you that night? About marrying me. She paused, her cheeks coloring slightly. Did you ever think about it? Even for a moment? Marcus stopped rapping and looked at her. Really looked at her. At the woman who'd brought light back into his carefully ordered life. At the gentle soul who'd shown him that it was possible to love again. To trust again, to open the door he'd kept locked for so long. Yes, he said simply. I thought about it. Elena's breath caught. And I think, Marcus said slowly, that your daughter is much wiser than she knows. But these things, they can't be rushed. They have to grow naturally, like flowers in your shop. Elena smiled, that beautiful, radiant smile that had become so familiar to him. So you're saying there might be hope? Someday? Marcus crossed the small kitchen and took her hands in his. I'm saying that 6 months ago, I was a lonely man who'd forgotten how to feel, and now I'm someone who looks forward to Sunday. Dinners and chess games and conversations about flowers. I'm saying that you and Lily have changed my life in ways I never expected. But, Elena prompted gently. But I want to do this right, Marcus said. I want Lily to have time to adjust to all these changes. I want you to be certain that what you feel isn't just gratitude. And I want to be sure that this old heart of mine is ready to love the way you both deserve to be loved. You're not old, Elena said, squeezing his hands. You're wise and kind and patient. Then be patient with me, Marcus said. Give me time to be certain I can be the man you need. The father Lily needs. We're not going anywhere, Elena assured him. That evening, when Lily came home from school and saw Marcus still there, helping with the packing, she threw her arms around both of them. "This is what I wished for," she said. "The three of us together." Marcus looked down at the little girl, who'd changed everything with her tearful request and her $7 and her enormous, courageous heart. "Me too, Lily," he said quietly. "Me too." A year and a half after that rainy autumn evening outside Bella Vista, Marcus Reed stood in Elena's garden, the garden behind the house. He'd helped them find where Elena had planted roses and lavender and all her favorite flowers. It was Lily's 8th birthday, and the backyard was full of children and laughter. Elena moved through the crowd with natural grace, making sure everyone had cake, that no one felt left out. Marcus watched her, this woman who'd taught him that second chances were real, that families could be built, not just born. That love, when it came late in life, was perhaps even more precious because you understood its value. "Mr. Marcus?" Lily appeared at his elbow, still calling him by the name she'd used since the beginning. "Can I ask you something?" "Always." "Do you remember what I asked you that night? Outside the restaurant?" "I remember everything about that night." Lily grinned. "Good, because I'm asking again. Will you marry my mommy? For real this time?" Marcus laughed, the sound rich and genuine. "Actually, Lily, I was hoping to ask you something first." He pulled a small velvet box from his pocket, not a ring box, but something else. Inside was a delicate silver locket with 3 charms. A rose for Elena, a lily for Lily, and an oak tree for himself. "Lily Martinez, would you give me permission to ask your mother to marry me? To become part of your family officially and forever?" Lily's eyes went wide. Then she launched herself at him with such force that Marcus actually stumbled backward. "Yes!" she squealed. "Yes, yes, yes!" From across the garden, Elena looked over, alerted by her daughter's excitement. Marcus met her eyes and smiled. That evening, after the guests had gone and Lily was finally asleep, Marcus and Elena sat on the porch swing, watching fireflies dance in the twilight. "She asked you again, didn't she?" Elena said with a smile. "She did. And this time," Marcus reached into his other pocket and pulled out a different velvet box. "This time, I'm ready to answer." Inside was a ring, nothing ostentatious, but beautiful in its simplicity. A single diamond on a gold band with tiny flowers etched around the setting. "Elena Martinez," Marcus said, his voice steady despite the emotion welling in his chest. "You and your daughter walked into my life on a rainy evening when I thought my heart had forgotten how to feel. You've given me laughter and purpose and a reason to look forward to tomorrow. Would you do me the extraordinary honor of becoming my wife?" Elena's eyes glistened with tears. "Marcus Reed, I fell in love with you the moment I saw you listening, really listening to my 8-year-old daughter's impossible request. Yes, 1,000 times yes." He slipped the ring onto her finger, and they sat there in the gathering darkness holding hands, while inside the house, a little girl dreamed of wedding flowers and chess games and all the tomorrows yet to come. And Marcus, the once cold CEO who'd learned to feel again, sent up a silent thank you to the universe for rain-damp little girls with $7 and impossible courage. Because sometimes the greatest kindness is simply saying yes when someone asks for help. And sometimes the greatest love is the one you never saw coming.